Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavallabha Jaya Girivara Dhari Jaya Girivara Dhari Jaya Gopi
Janavallabha
Janavallabha
Jaya
Jaya Girivara Dhari
Girivardhari Jaya
Jaya
Girivardhari. Can't hear you.
Prajanam
Jashodanandana
Prajanam
Jana
Yashodanandana Prajanaranjana Yashodanandana
Danandana Brajajanaranjana
Yashodanandana Prajanaranjana
Jashodanandana Yamuna Tira Vanachari
Yamuna Thiravanacha Yamuna
Yamuna Tira
Vanacharati
Vanachari
Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari
Jaya
Radha
Radha Madhava Kunj
Kunja
Bihari
Gopi Janavallabha Jaya Girivardhari Jaya Girivardhari
Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Giravaradari Jaya Giravaradari
Jaya Jaya Kunja Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava
Madhava
Jaya
Jaya
Kunj
Kunja
Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava
Bihari
Kunj Bihari
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Krishna Krishna
Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama
Rama,
Hare
Rama Rama, Hare
Rama
Hare.
Rama Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare
Hare Hare, Hare
Hare Krishna
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna Krishna
Krishna Hare Hare, Hare
Rama Hare
Rama,
Rama Rama
Rama
Rama
Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Hare
Hare
Rama
Rama,
Rama Rama Hare Hare
Hare
Hare
Hare
Krishna Hare
Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna
Krishna Hare Hare,
Hare Rama
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Rama Rama
Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna Hare
Hare
Krishna 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 Hare Hare Hare
Hare
Rama
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama
Rama,
Rama Rama
Rama, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna Krishna
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Hare
Rama Rama,
Rama, Hare
Hare Hare,
Hare.
Krishna, 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 Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Hare, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama, Hare Rama,
Rama,
Rama
Rama Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare,
Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare
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 Krishna,
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 Hare
Hare
Krishna,
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 Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
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 Hare,
Hare, Hare
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 Rama, Rama,
Rama,
Rama
Rama,
Rama, Hare
Hare.
Hare,
Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama,
Rama,
Hare Rama,
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Hare, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama, Hare Rama,
Rama, Rama
Rama
Rama,
Rama, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare Rama,
Hare
Rama
Rama,
Rama, Rama,
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
Hare
Rama, Hare
Rama, Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Rama
Rama Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Rama Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
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 Krishna,
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 Hare
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 Hare,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
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 Hare
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 Rama,
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 Rama
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 Rama,
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 Hare
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 Hare.
Gauranitai,
Puranita,
Gauranitai,
Puranita,
Gauranitai, Jaya
Jaya
Gauranitai,
Puranita,
Jaya
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 Gauranitai,
Gauranita,
Puranita, Puranita,
Gauranitai,
Gauranita, Gauranita,
Puranita,
Gauranitai,
Jaya
Jaya
Gauranita.
Puranita,
Jaya Jaya
Prabhupada,
Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya
Jaya Jaya
Jaya
Jaya Prabhupada,
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 Jaya
Prabhupada,
Jaya
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 Prabhupada.
Prabhupada.
Go Pramande, Hari Hari Bol.
Hari Hari Bol.
Namo Vishwa, Paramahamsa Parivrajaka, His divine grace of Chanara Vinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki.
Jaya,
Jai,
ISKCON founder, Acharya Beauty founder, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki.
Jaya,
Jai,
अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय,
Jai,
Jai,
रामाचार्य हरिदास ठाकुर की
Jai,
Jai,
प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि श्री गौर भक्तवृंद की जय,
Jai,
Jai,
श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गीव गोवर्धन की जय,
Jai,
श्री श्री वृंदावन मथुरा धाम की जय, श्री श्री
Jai,
नवद्वीप धाम की जय,
Jai,
गंगा माई जमुना माई की जय,
Jai,
Jai,
भक्ति देवी तुलसी महारानी की जय,
Jai,
उपस्थित समेत गौर भक्तवृंद की जय,
Jai.
Jai.
गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि
Hari
बोल.
Hari
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 Bol.
Bol.
All grace to assemble devotees, Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
All grace to assemble devotees, Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
All
Krishna,
grace to assemble devotees, Hare Krishna.
Krishna.
All grace, Shri Guru and Gauranga. All
Gauranga.
grace, Shri Prabhupada ki.
Ki
Jai,
Jai.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om
Om
Namo
Namo Bhagavate
Bhagavate
Vasudevaya.
Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om
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 Namo
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 Bhagavate
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 Vasudevaya.
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 Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om
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 Namo
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 Bhagavate
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 Vasudevaya.
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 Hare Krishna, everyone.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Welcome to the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam class. So today we are reading from Canto 5, the Creative Impetus, Chapter 4, the characteristics of Rishabdev, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And we are going to read today verse number 8. So again, the verse is in prose style. So what we'll do is we'll just go to the word by word meaning straight away. So, atha,
Atha
thereupon,
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 after the departure of his father,
after the
after the
after the
departure
departure
of his
of
departure
his
of
father,
his
father.
father,
ah,
ha,
Ah,
indeed,
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 Bhagavan,
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 the Supreme Personality of Godhead,
the
the Supreme
Supreme
Personality of
Personality of
Godhead,
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 Rishabhadevaha,
Rishabdevaha,
Rishabhadeva,
Rishabdevaha,
Rishabdeva.
Rishabdev,
Rishabdeva,
Swa,
Swa,
his own.
his
his
own,
own,
Varsam,
Varsham,
Varsam,
kingdom.
kingdom,
Kingdom,
Karmashetram,
Karma
Karmashetram,
Kshetram,
the field of activities.
the
the
field of
field of
activities,
activities,
Anumanyamanaha,
Anumanyamanaha,
accepting as.
accepting
accepting
as,
as,
Pradarshita,
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 shown as an example.
shown
shown
as an
as an
example,
example,
Gurukula Vasaha,
Gurukula
Gurukulvasaha,
Vasaha,
lived at the Gurukula.
lived at the Gurukul,
Labda,
Labdha,
Labda,
having achieved.
having
having
achieved,
achieved,
Varihi,
Varahi,
Varahi,
gifts.
gift,
gifts,
Guruvihi,
Guruvihi,
Guru Vihi,
by the spiritual masters.
by the spiritual masters,
master,
Anugyatdaha,
Anugyataha,
Anugyataha,
being ordered.
being
being
ordered,
ordered,
Grihamedhinam,
Graha Medhinam,
Vedinam,
of the householders.
of the
of the
household,
householders,
Dharmam,
Dharmam,
Dharman,
duties.
duties,
duties,
Anushiksha manaha,
Anushiksha,
Anushikshamanaha,
Manaha,
Manaha,
teaching by example.
teaching by
by example,
example,
Jayantyam,
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 in his wife Jayanti.
in
in
his
his
wife,
wife
Jayanti,
Yanti,
Indradattayam,
Indra
Indradattayam,
Dattayam,
offered by Lord Indra.
offered by
offered
Lord
by
Indra,
Lord Indra,
Ubhaya Lakshashvam,
Ubhaya
Ubhaya
Lakshanam,
Lakshanam,
of both types.
of
of
both
both types,
types,
Karma,
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 activities.
activities,
activities,
Smanam Yamanyatnam,
Samanya,
Samanyamanatam,
mentioned in the scriptures.
mentioned
mentioned
in
in
the
the
scriptures,
scriptures,
Abhiyunjan,
Abhiyunjana,
Abhiyunjan,
performing.
performing,
Atmajanam,
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 sons.
sons,
sons,
Atma Samananam,
Atmasamanam,
Atmasamanam,
exactly like himself.
exactly
exactly
like
like
himself,
himself,
Satam,
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 100.
100,
100,
Ya, Janayam Asa,
Janayamasa,
Janayam, Asa,
begot.
begot,
begot.
Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Jai,
The translation. So we read together. After Navi Maharaj departed for Badrikashama,
after Nabi
Nabi
Maharaj
Maharaj
departed for
departed for
Badrikashram,
Badrikashram,
the Supreme Lord Rishabdeva
the
the
Supreme
Supreme
Lord
Lord
Rishabdev
Rishabdeva
understood that
understood
understood
that
that
his kingdom was his field of activities.
his
his
kingdom
kingdom
was
was
his
his
field of
field of
activities.
activities.
He therefore showed
He
He
therefore
therefore
showed
showed
himself as an example
himself
himself
as an
as an
example
example
and taught the duties of a householder
and
and
taught
taught the
the
duties
duties
of
of
a
a
householder
householder
by first accepting brahmacharya
by
by first
first accepting
accepting
brahmacharya
brahmacharya
under the direction of spiritual master.
under
under
the
the
direction
direction
of
of
spiritual
spiritual
master.
masters.
He also went to live
He also went to
Also went to
live
live
at the spiritual master's place,
at the
at the
spiritual
spiritual
master's
master's
place,
place,
Gurukula.
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 After his education was finished,
After his
His
education was
education was
finished,
finished.
he gave gifts, Guru Dakshina,
he
He
gave
gave
gifts,
Guru
Guru
Dakshina
Dakshina,
to his spiritual masters.
to his
to his
spiritual
spiritual
masters.
master.
and then accepted the life of a householder.
and
and
then
then
accepted
accepted
the
the life of
life
a
of a
householder.
householder.
He took a wife named Jayanti
He
He
took a
took a
wife
wife
named
named
Jayanti
Jayanti
and begot 100 sons
and
and
begot
begot
100
100
sons
sons
who were as powerful and qualified
who were as
powerful and
powerful and
qualified
qualified
as he himself.
as
as
he
he
himself.
himself.
His wife Jayanti
His
His
wife
wife
Jayanti
Jayanti
had been offered to him
had been
had
offered
been
to
offered to
him
him
by Indra,
by
by
Indra,
Indra,
the king of heaven.
the
the
king
king
of
of
heaven.
heaven.
Rishabdev and Jayanti
Rishabdev and
Rishabdev and
Jayanti
Jayanti
performed householder life
performed
performed
householder
householder life
life
in an exemplary way,
in an
in an
exemplary way,
exemplary way,
carrying out ritualistic activities
carrying
carrying
out
out
ritualistic
ritualistic
activities
activities
ordained by the
ordained by the
ordained by the
Shruti and Smriti Shastra.
Shruti and
Shruti and
Smriti
Smriti
Shastra.
Shastra.
The Bhakti Vedanta purport. Being an incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Rishabdev had nothing to do with material affairs. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, Praitranaya sadhunam vinashaya chaya sudushkritam. The purpose of an incarnation is to liberate his devotees and to stop the demoniac activities of non-devotees. These are the two functions of the Supreme Lord when he incarnates. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has said that in order to preach, one must live a practical life and show people how to do things. Aponi achari bhakti shikhaimu shabare. One cannot teach others unless he behaves the same way himself. Rishabdev was an ideal king and he took his education in the Gurukul. Although he was already educated because the Supreme Lord is omniscient. Sorry. Although Rishabdev had nothing to learn from Gurukul, he went there just to teach the people in general how to take an education from the right source, from Vedic teachers. He then entered householder life and lived according to the principles of Vedic knowledge, Shruti and Smriti. In Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu 1.2.11101, Srila Rupa Goswami quoting the Skanda Purana states, Shruti Smriti Puranadi Prancharatra Vidhim Vina Aikantika Harer Bhaktir Utpataiva Kalpate. Human society must follow the instruction received from Shruti and Smriti, Vedic literature. Practically applied in life, this is worship. This is worship of the Supreme Personality of Godhead according to the Pancharatrika Vidhi. Every human being must advance his spiritual life and at the end return home back to Godhead. Maharaj Rishabdev strictly followed all these principles. He remained an ideal grihastha and taught his son how to become perfect in spiritual life. These are some examples of how he ruled the earth and completed his mission as an incarnation. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurmitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shivata Padakalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sargana Raghutatam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Shaitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Rita Shri Vishakanitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute De Pranamami Hari Priye वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। तव कथामृतं तप्त जीवनं कविरीरितं कल्मषापहम् श्रवणमाङ्गलां श्रीमदाततम् गृह्णति जय भूरिदा जना, भुवि गृह्णति जय भूरिदा जना। जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय।
Jai.
Hare Krishna, everyone.
Hare Krishna.
So today, again we are like every verse in this chapter is so wonderful and so related, so practical, um, for the devotional life, that like pretty much every verse can become like a seminar. um, so specifically this verse again a very profound verse, describing the activities of Rishabdev. So like as we are saying in this section, that as like from the first glance, this verse kind of appears as just like a something which is describing Rishabdev's life activities, like how he accepted education, how he entered the grihastha life, then married Jayanti, was offered by Indra, and then we got 100 children who are as perfect as him, as mentioned in the purport. But again, like Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is just not a it's just not a merely history book. It's not a record book. It's every activity of which has been put into this wonderful book. Every activity of the Lord is filled with spiritual instruction. Through this verse, Shukadev Goswami is teaching us that, showing the example that how a devotee should approach responsibility, leadership, family life, and obviously spiritual authority, all these things, but most importantly the humility. So this is kind of like the theme of today's verse, as they say, in English, walk the talk. So we obviously the first thing, this verse, which is like very like when we read about the Lord, the first striking lesson from this verse is that how he is showing by his own example, right? um, the Lord does not come merely to give instruction. He just didn't come, just give some, sit down somewhere and give some instruction and then disappear. The Lord, whenever he comes, he demonstrates the perfect way of living. And that's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, specifically in this present day and age, and in this age of Kali Yuga, which is like mainly 500 years ago, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the principle. He is the main example, and also that who gives us this principle. And the verse which was mentioned in the purport, that apni achari bhakti shikhaimu shavari, means I shall teach devotional service by practicing myself. And this is the very genuine foundation. This is the very foundation of the spiritual service, and the spiritual, and to take it to a notch higher, spiritual leadership. you know um because why this thing said in English multiple times, that that walk the talk. It's it's because the words, you can say so many words. Word doesn't have that much power. But example, if someone shows by example, that has greater power. Like, someone can, like, remember all the nice verses, all the important verses, all the verses that genuinely, like, is very very important. But in, like, in a practical world, people are actually get influenced when they see that those, whatever the philosophy that that specific person is uttering, that is actually manifesting in their character. So that's why the greatest preaching is not simply by explaining Krishna consciousness in a way, if we want to put, like, it's not just explaining it. It is actually by becoming the example of Krishna consciousness. When someone takes Krishna consciousness and they said, okay, this is my lifestyle. Krishna consciousness is lifestyle. Krishna consciousness is not the thing that I just I go to the temple once, or I read once in a week, or I just like speak about something or listen about something. No, it's a lifestyle. And when someone gets into this lifestyle, then, and seriously, with sincerity and devotion, then they become the example of Krishna consciousness. And that's the stage when others gets motivated by looking at them. That, okay, look at this, like all these wonderful, like, the pastimes of these exalted devotees. These, like, when we read about them, this motivates us. So that's why it's that verse which has been mentioned here, that apni achari bhakti shikhaimu shavare. And also Krishna mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, yad yad acharadi shreshtas. So this is very important, you know. So this verse begins with Athaha Bhagavan Rishabhadeva. So here Shukadev Goswami established that the identity of Rishabhadev, which we know, he is Bhagavan himself. He is not an ordinary person. So at the beginning of the verse, straight away Rishabhadev is Shukadev Goswami is establishing that Rishabhadev is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is not an ordinary conditioned souls who needs to be purified, right? He is complete and he is perfect because he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead who descends into this world out of compassion for the living entities. So that's why, like, in Bhagavad Gita, in chapter 3, verse 22, Krishna is saying to Arjuna that, O son of Pritha, there is no work prescribed for me within this three planetary system, nor am I nor am I want of anything, nor have I need to obtain anything, and yet I am engaged in prescribed duties. So the Lord is mentioning here that he doesn't have to do anything in this material world. There is nothing that which he needs to be done. Like, he is not, nor he's saying that, nor am I want of anything, nor have I need to obtain anything. But yet I'm engaged in prescribed duties. Why? Because that's the reason that he has to show this example, that this is how it needs to be done. So the Lord, the Lord here, it's saying that, and on top of that, he voluntarily accept this thing, not because that he is bound by that, right? So he is voluntarily taking this, all of this, because we need to learn from him. So for example, like when a teacher, like, comes to the class and write a like, maths problem, like, in the blackboard, and then he does that, like, solution. uh, he is not doing this because he is, like, he's forgetting the mathematics or something like that. He is doing it because he is showing the way to the students how it needs to be done, you know because it needs to be shown to us in a way that we can understand, because of the Kali Yuga, we don't, our senses are not great, our intelligence is not great. So we need to take, we need to show in a way that we can understand. You know, when the mother bird gets something for the like for the like children, for her children to eat something, she doesn't give them straight away. What she does, she chew them first, chew them, and then when she knows that okay, now this food is ready for the children to eat, then only she can give it. And that is the role of the, like, you know, the of the teacher. That's the role of a leader, that's the role of a spiritual master. So that's why here, like, you know, Rishabh Dev is taking this all this thing voluntary on him so that we can learn from it. So after the departure of Nabi Maharaj, Rishabh Dev accepted this responsibility of ruling this of this kingdom. And the verse again, like, you know, the says that Swabarsham Karma Kshetram Anumanan Manaha. So he accepted this kingdom as his field of activities. And this is again another very important principle, that when whatever situation Krishna places us, it becomes our field of activities or field of service. The material world is not simply a place of enjoyment. It is it is a place that where we have to come, we have to learn things most of our time, like at least for me, in hard way. And then obviously there are so much, like, you know, problem comes, issues comes, and so many heartbreaks, so many, like, you know, things that which actually makes us frustrated, anxious, and all those things. But the for the for but for a devotee of the Lord, um, they go through these things, and they come out and from these situations. And but they don't think that this is, I came out because this is my ability, my, this is what I was able to do it, or because I have all this wealth, I have the family, I have the position. No, the devotee doesn't think like that. The devotee thinks that everything belongs to Krishna, and I have been given the opportunity to serve. So I'm just here to be a servant. So this, by and what's the reason for this? Because if someone, if the if someone thinks in that way, then that thinking can elevate someone. And also the same position can like also degrade someone. If a person becomes proud, or if a person becomes like, okay, this is, everything has happened because of me, then what happened? Then the false ego takes over. Then that person starts to, like, you know, then that person obviously becomes someone who is with influence, and then that person starts exploiting others. So that's why this, like, you know, when someone achieve that position of a leadership, they can either influence someone to guide, or like guide someone towards Krishna, or they can also influence someone and exploit them. So that's why it becomes, like, you know, it's become very important that when we are in this material world, yes, there are so many things to do here, like all these responsibilities, all these things that we need to do. And by doing them, and by going through that, when we do it, like, you know, so called successfully, then we achieve some position. Okay, so you are this leader, or you are this. Now, important thing is, if someone is Krishna, if someone in Krishna consciousness, that whatever those achievements are coming from the materialistic positions, use it in the service of Krishna. Because if we don't use it in the service of Krishna, then it's what happened, that we then use it for exploiting others. Because it's for sure, we have seen it time after again, in all the examples in the modern history that we see, that power corrupts. And when power corrupts, then what happened? Then basically someone lose their intelligence, then they just do so many abominable things that it just becomes so, like, and it becomes like a scar on the humanity. And people think that, okay, how I'm going to, like, you know, get out of it. And sometimes there is specifically no way. So that's why it's important to understand that whatever we achieve, whatever influence that we have, it should be used for the service of the Lord. Then in the verse it has been explained that Pradarshita Gurukula Vasaha. So Rishabdev, he is actually then he demonstrated the life of living in Gurukul. So there is again a very important point that he is taking the shelter of spiritual master. The supreme personality of Godhead, like taking the shelter of spiritual master, which is extremely significant. Why? Because it's not because of the fact that he needed knowledge. He is the supreme personality of Godhead. He is the source of all knowledge. But he is taking this shelter of the spiritual master because he is accepting this role as a disciple to teach us that there is no other way to get knowledge, the proper knowledge, which can help us to advance in spiritual life, other than the um other than going through other than, like, taking the shelter of the bona fide spiritual master who is the representative of in our parampara. But if someone, which is like, if someone thinks that he's reached the stage where he no longer needs any correction, then it's a big danger. So because that's where, if someone thinks, okay, this is something that I don't need to, I don't like, now I know everything and I don't need to have to understand any, like, need to get because it just shows a sign in material world that if you are taking shelter of someone, that means that it shows a, like, a sign of like, you are weakness. Then it's a big danger. It's a red flag that, okay, it's someone will fall down. So that's why the Rishabdev's acceptance of Gurukul is so profound. If the Lord Himself demonstrated the acceptance of how important of this acceptance of authority, then how come, like, conditioned souls, like all of us, we can think that we are beyond any needing any guidance or any help or something like that, where the Lord is taking that. So we need to understand this. We need to follow this. As Bhagavad Gita says that tadvidi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. So learn the truth by approaching the spiritual master and by inquiry and service. So that word, which is pranipatena means surrender and humility. Without the humility, the knowledge will not enter the heart. If we try to go to someone and surrender but don't have humility, then no matter whatever we try to do for that surrender, it will be all show, and the knowledge will never enter into our heart. So that's why the humility is very important. Then after his education, next thing, Lord Rishabdev, he offered Guru Dakshina to the teachers. That also shows that the gratitude, that what gratitude we have towards the to our teachers. So, and because they are giving us all this wonderful knowledge which will help us to progress in our spiritual life. And we see that, Srila Prabhupada is the biggest example in this manner. uh, Sorry. um Srila Prabhupada is actually showing us this example that whenever there is something where, like, some appreciation came to Srila Prabhupada, he always mentioned that, that he offered it back to his spiritual master. He said, like, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, like, even when faced old ages, difficulties, financial struggle, he never gave up. His only consideration was, how can I serve the order of my spirit Guru Maharaj. Like, when he was trying so hard to go to US, that he was practically going every day to the office of the Srimati Desai, and the Srimati Desai was kind of ignoring him, because she knew that if this person who is very old age and if going to US, then this person will not be able to survive there. It's so cold. There is no one to look after him, and she was ignoring. But Prabhupada, every day he was going to her office. Every day he was sitting there and requesting the secretary that, can I please have 5 minutes? Can I please have 5 minutes? So one day, Srimati Desai just said, okay, please come. And then Prabhupada was saying, please let me go. And then she asked that, why you are trying to do this? You know that if you go there, you will die. Why you are doing? And then Prabhupada answered again, so profound. He said, I'm just trying to serve my Guru Maharaj. Just see the amount of the dedication that and the humility that he was doing so many things, but he was just saying, no, it's all because of my Guru Maharaj. And then we see that's the reason Krishna empowered him to spread the Krishna consciousness through the Western world in such a way that no one ever done it and no one will be able to do it in future, like how Srila Prabhupada has done it. That's why he is our founder Acharya. So after completing his education, then he entered into the household life. And now it's a very important verse which has been mentioned here, which from from Rupa Goswami, and this actually shows us that how someone can lead their life into the grihastha ashram. The verse which has been mentioned here is Shruti Smriti Purana di Pancharatra Vidhir Vina Aikantiki Hare Bhaktir Utpataiva Kalpate. So this word Utpat, Utpataiva Kalpate, Utpat means disturbance. So devotional service to the Supreme Lord that ignores authorized scriptures becomes a disturbance. So here it has been mentioned that Rishabh Dev and Jayanti, they were observing and they were maintaining their grihastha life in a very nice way, because they were taking the shelter of Shruti and Smriti. And Rupa Goswami is actually giving us a very serious warning that if someone try to do the devotional service but ignores the authorized scriptures, then that devotional service only becomes a disturbance. And this statement is very extremely important, because this warning is not for materialistic people. This warning is for devotees. He is warning it. This is the warning for devotees. He is in through this verse. He is explaining that even devotional life, even devotional service, which we regarded the topmost, can become disturbance. It becomes disconnect from Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. If someone just think that, okay, I don't need any guidance and I'm just sitting by myself, I don't need any association of devotees, I don't need to go to I don't need to have any association of devotees, I don't need to go to the temple, I just can sit at one place and whatever I'm thinking, it is the right thing. Whatever that person is trying to do is only disturbance. And that's what Rupa Goswami is explaining here. And as we said, the word utpat, which is means disturbance, and then it actually if we further understand it, it just means it's confusion, disorder. Sometimes we may think that the disturbance in spiritual life comes from people who reject Krishna consciousness. That comes from there. But here Srila Goswami is giving a deeper warning. Disturbance can also come from within spiritual community when devotee act independently without the authority of the scripture. So this is very, very important to understand. This for practicing devotees, that way a new devotee, because why it is important that if we try to understand that a new devotee may make mistakes, right? But they lack experience, they don't know. So we can correct them. Okay, this is something that has been done, please don't do it. But for an experienced devotee, it's a different kind of danger. The danger is because that person has experience. That person think oh, I already have experience of so many years, why I need someone to correct myself. I don't need, I know everything. you know And this is a very subtle trap. This is a very, very subtle trap. For new devotees, always, as go through the practices and the training, it is that, okay, I need to learn this. I need to learn this. But after many years, the thinking becomes that, oh, I already know about this. I already know this thing. So whenever the thinking change like this, it creates that dangerous, position. The the point here is the danger is not that experience that when which someone has gained. The experience is valuable. All the senior devotees with experience are very valuable. Their leaderships are very valuable. But the problem becomes when the experience creates the independence, creates that independence from guru, sadhu, and shastra. If that experience there and that experience lead us to take the shelter of guru, sadhu, shastra, that is very, very helpful for us. But that if that experience lead us towards an independence or like separation from guru, sadhu, shastra, then it's very dangerous for us. you know we often, someone might think, oh, I've been here for like 100, 50 years, 30 years. I've been preaching to so many people. I've managed so many surveys. I've done this. I've helped devotees. Like all these things. All these are very true. But the question is not how many surveys has been performed. The deeper question is, as per Rupa Goswami, what he's trying to elaborate through this verse is, how dependent have we become on Krishna? Because the secret is, the more we go towards, the more we get so-called experience in Krishna consciousness, the more dependence should get, our dependence should increase on Krishna rather than we become more independent. you know and that is this very big difference, that in material life, when someone is advancing, means that becoming more independent. Like in workplace, if we say that, okay, this person has been in the company for 20 years, so he knows all the processes, he knows all the things, you don't need to train him. That person actually can train others, so everybody looks at that person as a valuable asset for the business, right? But for spiritual life, advancement means that more increasingly dependent. you know the more dependence is, like the devotee is always thinking that, okay, without Krishna's mercy I cannot do anything. Although that devotee know everything, that devotee know how to do worship, how to cook, how to do kirtan, how to do everything, how to do management, everything. But the thinking becomes that without mercy of Krishna I cannot do anything. So that's why, sometimes when, if someone remain in the in this spiritual life for a long time, but the thinking change like that, it's because of me, or everything is happening. This is, and somewhere or other, we can say it's become spiritual pride. That spiritual pride is becoming more dangerous than material pride. Because material pride is easy to recognize. Somebody can, oh, look at my house, look at my this, look at my, it's someone is proud of their money, someone proud of their beauty and the position and all those things. But the spiritual pride is very subtle. It can appear in a way that it sounds like devotional service, but it's not. Sometimes you can think that, okay, I can think I have higher realization than all of us. Anyone who is here, my understanding is very deeper. I don't need any these external things, the practice that has been prescribed. I don't need to do anything. I can follow my own understanding. Whatever I am thinking in my head, that is the right thing. That mental concoction, that is the right thing. But then a very important question needs to be asked, that is this genuine realization coming from a purified heart, or is the mind presenting its own desire as the spiritual understanding? So very important to understand, is the genuine realization coming from a purified heart, or is the mind presenting its own desire as spiritual understanding. And that's where the Shastras are there for our protection. Shastra does not only from the Shastras, Shastra doesn't restrict the devotion. Shastra protects the devotion. You know, that's why we need to take the. That's why the emphasis of reading Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, listening to Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is very high there, because all these things, when it comes to our heart, even this, all this, like, thing which is so called, it seems to be a spiritual realization, but when we read the Shastra, then it becomes, oh, actually this is not spiritual, this is not the correct spiritual realization. What I'm trying to achieve here is something that I'm trying to get a transactional relationship with the Lord, that okay, I'm still having something in my heart that that I want from the Lord, you know. Yesterday I was listening a lecture by His Holiness Swam Bhagavan Keshav Swami Maharaj, and like, he said in a very nice way that sometimes if you don't uh, 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 okay, yeah, yeah, trying to understand that this, they love me so much, why this is coming from, where this is coming from. He came back as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to understand that how to ask, reach to that level of uh, uh, advancement. Nothing, it's just that I am doing my service, I'm just like, serving the Lord, that thing else. That is the perfection, uh, you know uh, uh, that's someone who has kind of symptom, one just to say that shows the real advance. And I'm doing this, I'm doing that. So just to be in that, it has always that the shadow of Sadhu and Shastra. And that's how we can pursue your life. When a river, flows back, it ocean, but it's down in banks, and when the river just goes to the other side, and then it trucks, and that's where we come up. We don't remain within that form. Whenever we try to put in things, like authority means authority to put some boundaries. And people think, why my authorities are putting this boundary? Because there is this reason to put these boundaries. Because if that boundaries is not there, then we are all conditioned in such a way that we will just basically go here and there and create disturbance, nuisance. And that's why it's important to understand that why we need to remain in the boundary. So that's why the spiritual, we are almost at the end, that we will just finishing with this one, that the real measurement of spiritual advancement is not by, like, how many years I have practiced, or how much knowledge, how many books I have read, or how many people are influenced by me. No, the real advancement is when I can think that, am I still eager to hear the Lord's glories? Am I still eager to serve? Am I still willing to accept correction? You know, when this kind of this is the measurement, that, okay, so am I still feeling this eagerness to go and do service? These are the things, actually, the measurement. And that's why, like, Rishabdev is teaching us perfectly that although he is the Bhagavan, but he is accepting guru, he is accepting authority. So although he is beyond any duty, anything, like, but still he is accepting his prescribed duty, and he's followed his scriptures. Because why? Because he is teaching us that spiritual life is not about being independent. The perfection of spiritual life is to be dependent on guru, dependent on sadhu, dependent on shastra, and ultimately dependent on Krishna. And again, this dependence is not weakness. This dependence gives us spiritual strength. So that's why, like, we should, like, we should pray to Krishna that Krishna, please protect us from the wrong type of spiritual realization, from the false pride. And please, like, the way to keep ourselves secure is to always remain under the shelter of the devotees. And please never let me think that I can advance without the mercy of the devotees. And that is the thing. And that's where the last, very last thing is the advancement, which has, like, again, Rupa Goswami mentioned in the Padavali, that Gopi Vartu Pada Kamalayor Dasa Dasanu Dasa. That I can, like, I'm not, like, the word says, I'm not a Brahmana, I'm not a Kshatriya, I'm not a Vaishya or a Sudra, nor I'm a Brahmachari, a householder, a Vanaprastha, or a Sannyasi. I identify myself only as a servant of the servant of the servant of the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, the maintainer of the gopis. He is like an ocean of nectar, and he is the cause of universal transcendental bliss. He is always existing with brilliance. So on that note, like, I'd like to end here. We're just a little bit over time, but hopefully there was something that it was useful in that time. So we'll again meet tomorrow. But before we finish, if anyone wants to add any comment or any correction or anything, please go ahead.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna
Prabhu.
Prabhu. Uh, there you go, Mataji first.
No, you go first. That's fine.
Okay. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yes, bro. Hare Krishna.
Yes, in the spiritual world, they did the Guru Ashram, they did the one prastha and all of that. But if you look at it from today's age, would you appreciate the parents who leave the children behind and go and retreat to the forest? Children who have not even been to the school yet, and parents leave them and go away. On the other hand, a son has 100 children. Would you call that a sense gratification? And then not caring for parents. Not today is life. We want to care for our parents, and the parents wants to care for children and grandchildren. So would you call this as an exemplary example? Or what would your answer be?
No, because when you are saying that, as a when where Rishabdev's example has been given, that his 100 children has been mentioned, that all the 100 children, it has been mentioned in the verse, that was as qualified as himself, that as him. So he is not like leaving his responsibilities and going somewhere. He is only doing it when they are as like, as expert as himself, and he's providing everything for them. And obviously this is we're talking about the age which is completely different. Like, I believe you also, like, raised a similar question that I think on Saturday also, that it is right for this yoga or not. And every yoga has different, and how that yoga things was happening, obviously it's not happening in this yoga. But the point is not there. The point is here that how, irrespective of whatever yoga is there, how we can dedicate ourselves to the service of the Lord in a more dedicated and spiritual way. Because in the current day and age, how we are seeing that, how things are happening, like, everything is degrading more and more. And yes, you mentioned, like, for I believe you mentioned like 100 having 100 children is sense gratification, but the thing is so if that is sense, isn't it sense gratification is happening in every step of our life, in not probably in that bigger way, but in a smaller way. But the point is not focusing on that side. The point is focusing on that how we can focus on our spiritual life, how we can take that example that okay, there are this all these things were there, but still after that how we can focus so that we can progress in our spiritual life. Because if we focus on the negative thing, then only negative thing will come out. But at the same time, if we try to see that what's the positive thing has been given us, if we don't look at them and if we just ignore them, or if we just think that oh these are not practical, then it's not going to work, Prabhu. It's never going to work. It didn't work for anyone. And everyone, and then we will be just keeping in that, like when you go, I believe you drive, right? You go into that roundabout and just think that you don't know which exit to take. And if you don't know which exit to take, what's happened in that roundabout? You will just keep going round and round and round and round. And that's what's happening with the 4.2 million different yonis that we go through. But it's only sometimes that we have like some, out of some fortunate way, that we come to know that what is the way of getting out of it. And the problem here is that even when we get to know about it, sometimes we then also try to focus on the other thing, which is which is just give us the thing that okay, we again focus on the negative thing rather than positive thing. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you.
Kadamini Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you very much for such a wonderful class.
Thank you,
Prabhuji, I just wanted to say that we are so fortunate that we have come into the movement of Srila Prabhupada, the Krishna conscious movement, and he organized everything for us, all our temples and everything, and he gave us a set program starting right from in the morning 4:30 Mangalarti.
Yeah.
And after Mangalarti, then we have all the program, the Tulsi Aarti, Narasimha prayer is there, Tulsi Aarti is there, and then afterwards we all sit together and we chant, like in the temples I'm just talking about, but we can do the same thing at home. And all this program Prabhupada has given. And of course, the important thing which is, as we are having this Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam class every morning, all over the world this program is followed. And even if we are not in the temples, these programs are like in this Zoom. We can have the opportunity that we can sit at our homes and then we can hear Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam and participation. So we don't have to really worry about. So this is all Shastric. Like in this verse, Srila Prabhupada has said that this is the way that we are following, Shruti and Smriti. So we cannot sit alone. Ekantaki Harir Bhaktir Utpat Eva Kevalam. So that's how it is. So we need the association and hearing the glories of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. And that way we are also encouraged to participate in that. So we are really very, very fortunate. Another thing I was just noticing here, when all the Brahmanas, they prayed, and they asked for Supreme Personality because King Nabi wanted to have a son, just like, the Supreme Personality. And Supreme Personality himself expanded himself. And it's just amazing that it's written that, he expanded in the womb of Meru Devi. So we can see that Lord has got expansion, which is as powerful as Lord himself. And that's why in the verse it says, Rishvadeva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It's just, when you hear these things, see, we can't compare like Rishvadeva having 100 sons. Prabhu just mentioned that. No, I think Bhakti Siddhanta Swami, if I remember correctly, he said we can have hundreds of thousands of sons, but if we can take all them back to Godhead. So if we are living in this age, we cannot take our children. If we have one or two children and we are struggling, or that somebody is becoming devotee or not, we are trying everything. Where Rishvadeva, he is all 100 children, and we can see like Bharat Varsh, the Bharat Maharaj, and we will read, about all those children and how they were also devotees of the Lord. So we cannot compare. We cannot do anything. So it's very difficult that in this age of Kali, where we are living at the most maybe 100 years. And so this is the difference which we have. Thank you very much, Prabhuji,
Thank
for
you.
such a wonderful class. Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Mataji. Thank you. Thank you. Hope to see you all again tomorrow. Vancha kalpataruvacha kripasinduvacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavabhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Namaskar Shri Haridas Thakur ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namanande Hari Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna everyone.
His Grace Somendra Krishna Das Prabhuji ki jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Prabhu, I just want to add one thing, Somendra Prabhu.
Did you say something, Sachimata?
Yes, Prabhu. Mataji, I really wanted to say this because as I could hear Shailendra Prabhu is asking a question that is Rishabdev giving 100 sons is a sense gratification.
Yes.
So I hope Shailendra Prabhu, are you still there, Prabhu?
I think everybody has gone, it looks like.
No, I'm here. I'm here.
Oh, yeah, he's there. He's there. You can say.
I'm
No, thank
listening.
you. Thank you so much for your question, Prabhu. Just wanted to make it clear that on the forum, everyone to everyone. Because Rishabdev is a Prajapati, Prabhu. The Prajapati, his duty is to give the progeny, good progeny, and fill the earth with the good people, Prabhu. And he gave birth to 100 sons as a service to the Lord, as not for his sense gratification, and teaching them, giving them the rules, regulation, good social order, doing all these things, this is his service, Prabhu. As Mataji, Kadambani Mataji was also saying that 100 sons out of these 100 sons, the Bharat Maharaj was who became a ruler of the Bharat Varsha and everything. So these giving 100 sons, that's a duty of the Prajapati. So he was doing it as a service to the Lord, not a sense gratification at all. That's what I
thank you. I see your point.
Thank you. Thank you.
At the same time, doesn't see that they're caring for the grandparents. So the grandparents leave home.
As Kadambani Mata was saying also before, our duty is a father will have a duty to deliver his dependents. That's his wife and children, Prabhu. We don't have a duty to grandchildren. And my Guru Maharaj always says that never become a babysitter. If the situations are there like that, you're helping your grandchildren, that's fine. So that we can able to elevate ourselves, deliver our dependents, Prabhu. That's your children itself.
So your
Because
point,
you need
thank
to
you.
look after your own elevation also to the spiritual life. That's important also.
Yeah,
thank you, Sachimata. Thank you, Sachimata.
No, thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Shailendra Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. I think somebody has to close it. Bhavamai Mataji, you have to stop this recording, otherwise it will keep on going. She is not here. Somendra Prabhuji has gone. So nobody can. There is not any host. Hare Krishna, Bhavamai. Hare Krishna.
I don't think anyone's there.